welcome back to the channel. There's nothing, I'm Jam, and let's get to it. So today we are diving on into the All About the Titles book tag, so let's go. Question number 1 in this tag is a book with a one-word title, and I have gone with Whisper for this one. It is an Australian book by an Australian author, and it's interesting to say the least. It feels very like X-Men-y-esque with the secret powers, the somewhat amnesia, and yeah, it's interesting. There is a sequel to it called Weapon, and I don't know if I am committed enough to read the second one, but I am highly intrigued by the first. Question number 2 in this tag is a book with a phrase in its title, and I've gone with a Yours for the Taking, which I feel like it is kind of a phrase, or is something that is said so much that it may as well be a phrase at this point. But it's a really interesting book about how the world is a little bit fucked up, and so they have taken people away and into space, and it is about what's going on in their lives and how even though they tried to make it ethical, it becomes so unethical and people leave. And we also follow the story of the people who decided or couldn't come into these facilities, and it is really interesting and also so fucked up, but like kind of like very dystopian vibes, even though it's kind of feels like there's commentary on climate change and shit like that. So it's very interesting. Question number 3 in this tag is a book with a sentence as a title, and I'm gonna have to read it. It's Different Not Less, a neurodivergence guide to embracing your true self and finding your happily ever after. I feel like that is a true mouthful. When I talk about this book, I just say Different Not Less, but oh my god, I love this book so much. I think I've spoken about it before on the channel, but I've never seen like so much like truth and so much of like my experience reflected in somebody else. Like, it's so crazy to me. I don't have a lot of like neurodivergent people around me, so when I like speak up and talk about like being dyslexic, a lot of people don't really understand that, and like reading that and seeing like that someone had the same struggles as I did is just speaks volumes for how messed up our school system is sometimes, with just teaching things a certain way and not really thinking outside of that little box. Number 4 in this tag is a book with an unusual word in its title, and I'm gonna go with pumpkin heads because I just think it sounds funky. It's just not a word you come across every day. Pumpkin and heads. It's just, yeah. I couldn't think of anything else. It's the fruitiest thing I could come up with, even though it's, is a pumpkin a fruit? I feel like it's a vegetable. Number 5 in this tag is pick a book with a name in its title, and I've decided to go with Looking for Alibrandi for this one. I read it last year and I absolutely loved it because it's such a like contemporary vibe. I was reading a lot of fantasy, and stepping into like something that was like really contemporary was like, I loved it. But also the high school drama of it all. Oh my god, the on again, off again, on again, off again. Very, very speaks like the truth of high school, really. I do not miss those days. But living through it vicariously in fiction, that's fine. I can deal with that. Number 6 in this tag is a book with a made-up word in the title, and I have gone with The Girl and the Galderan. I don't really know how to pronounce that properly, if I'm honest. I haven't come across that word ever. I thought maybe it was like gonna be like another word for guardian, but I looked and I couldn't find it. When I googled the word, the book only came up, so I'm guessing it's a made-up word. But basically the frog creature that's on the front of the book. But oh my goodness, art pretty, story amazing. Well, at least in the first one. The first one I really loved. The second one I was a little indifferent to, because I was just like, this is not where I thought it was going. This is not the path I thought we were on. But you know what? Still pretty art. Can't complain. Number 7 in this tag is a book with a pun in the title, and I've decided to pick These Witches Don't Burn. It's not really a pun, but I think it's kind of like commentary on like how they used to burn witches, and now it's modern day and that doesn't really happen anymore. I mean, you hope it doesn't happen. I say doesn't really because I don't know if people still do that some places, you know? Number 8 in this tag is a book with a title that explains it well, and I decided to pick King of Scars for this one because I feel like it very accurately describes the main character of the story. He is a king, and he does have scars, both physical and emotional. Number 9 in this tag is a book with a title that doesn't explain it well, and I picked Labyrinth because it just doesn't know. It should have been like how to traumatize your reader in 300 pages or less. But basically, I feel like it just doesn't explain it well. I understand why it's called that based on the cover and based on the stuff that happens within it, but I feel like it does not set the reader up for what it's going to be about, because my god. Basically, the author that has written The Labyrinth and many other books that I have talked about on the channel likes to sort of do this very playful dance of keeping secrets from you, but keeping you so engaged in the story that you have to keep reading. Like you finish these are the books I talk about. The Labyrinth, Things from the Loop, The Electric State, and Tales from the Loop. Sorry, that's Things from the Flood. He does a very playful dance of like keeping you so gripped in the story and so grounded in the story that you just have to keep reading to find out what happens. And normally it's something that you don't see coming, and it's something that's normally very fucked up, but it's very intriguing, I must say. Anyway guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, subscribe, it's always nice, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!